Good Saturday morning and welcome to another edition of the award-winning Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency.
Now, here's your host, Larry Ray.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome to Outdoors with Larry Ray. We roll into this second Saturday in March, so we're kind of jumbled up our schedule a little bit here. Normally, these two guys would be on first Saturday, but last week was a little different show, and so next week's going to be a little different show. So first Saturday is now the second Saturday this month. It still means the Brother Darrell and Darrell show.
That's right, the old-time radio show with Brother Darrell and Darrell.
And here we got
everything you ever wanted to know about the outdoors, but we're afraid to ask.
That's true.
And this is the time to ask. So that you know those voices. That's the baritone voice of Dave Gabbard, and then the tenor voice of
Hi.
Yeah, that's the tenor voice of
Hi, you guys.
of Gene Smith. And we will say that this is March the 9th. Well, if I'm not mistaken, a week from Monday night, Gene Smith will go into the Memphis Amateur Sports Hall of Fame.
Thank you very much.
That is a
Yeah.
big honor, and you heard another woohoo in
Yeah.
the studio here, because not just Shelby McCall, who takes care of us and our show producer, but we have the one, the only
The gray-bearded adventurer himself,
Dale Sanders in studio. Good morning, Dale.
That was quite a welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We have.
It's good to be here.
It's fun to have Dale. So many things going on with Dale, and we're gonna. Dale's gonna spend a couple of segments with us here as we talk about this amazing man, the gray-bearded adventurer. That he's got so many things going on, but there's a big special event coming up on March the 20th, and we're going to talk about that. Dale's already looking ahead. Now, Dale, in June you will be how old now, Dale?
In June, I'll be 89.
89 in June. It just seems like yesterday he was just 81.
I'm telling you.
And Dale's breaking all those records on the Source to Sea, on the Mississippi River, the Appalachian Trail, and we're going to...
Grand Canyon.
And the Grand Canyon and everything else. The man that took his wife on a walk, a roundabout walk across the world back in those days, and we do want to express our prayers to his wife Miriam and her family for the loss of her brother, right, Dale? Is that right, Dale?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes, and so because me and Dale share a same name for our wives. Now, they spell them different, but my wife is Miriam, his wife is Miriam, so I guess that's how me and Dale kind of hooked up together, and I've written so many stories about Dale. All you got to do is Google Graybeard Adventure, Dale Sanders, go to YouTube, go to archives or wherever it might be that what I've written about him, and if you go to YouTube, Dale, I was blown away, and maybe Gene and Dave will understand this too. Your name has been in so many publications.
It really has. A matter of fact, I used to have to send a list of publications to people that I wanted to help sponsor me.
Yes.
But nowadays, all I do is just type in Dale or Graybeard Sanders, just Graybeard Sanders. Don't even have to type Dale. And tons and tons of stuff will pop up.
And a lot of this, of course, the many travels of Dale. He's pretty remarkable at his age, and so I really feel, Dave Gabbard, I feel like I'm just a pup in the room today. Now I know Shelby's the young pup, but I'll be 81 in May, and I'm the youngest in this room besides Shelby. I'm with two super seniors. Because how old are you now?
83.
83. Dale will be 89 in June. Poor old Shelby over there. She's just a young pup. So, and I'm not going to tell how old Dave is because he doesn't qualify because he's not in the room with us. So
You talking about him being in publications. I was at one of my wife's cancer doctors one time, and I was going through a magazine. I found a big article about Dale.
In the West Cancer Center, probably, right? The magazine.
Yes.
Yes. Dale, so you don't know, do you?
No, half of the stuff's out there. I don't even know what has happened.
Well, I used to, when I worked for the Commercial Appeal, Dave Gabbard will believe this, when I was out doing it at the Commercial Appeal, I would find my face a lot of times in the bottom of a bird cage.
And at the post office, too.
The newspaper was serving, and there's Larry Ray right there where the parakeet was. You know, I could see my stories were being well used to cover up the bird cage. So you don't have to worry about that, Dale. But I know there's so much going on right now. A lot of you folks out there know we're getting close to turkey season. It's almost about 5 weeks away, and we will have a turkey show coming up in a couple of weeks. The annual spring turkey hunting show. And then next week, we're going to have our Bassmaster Classic preview with some of the top anglers in the country. But I wanted Dale, I finally got him down here because things are getting ready to roll for Dale. So talk about this March 20th. What's happening on March 20th, Dale?
Well, that's a very important day because when I did the Source to Sea on the Mississippi River now 2 years ago, can you believe that?
Oh, no.
And the film was made, and Graybeard, The Man, the Myth, the Mississippi. That film has been winning a lot of awards. Matter of fact, just a couple of days ago, it won another award.
It won the Walter Ordway?
Yeah, up in Iowa.
In Iowa.
That's the 7th award it's won.
Wow.
And, there's a big first coming up here on the 20th now. It's premiere day for a big screen. It's never been shown on a big screen before. It's the first time. It's going to be right here in Memphis, Tennessee, at the Paradiso Malco Theater.
Yes.
And that's on Poplar. Matter of fact, in the parking lot of the Whole Foods, if you have any trouble finding it.
It is. And this screening, folks, tickets are going fast. I don't know.
They're only $10, too.
They're only $10, and they can hold a certain amount in there. And so we're going to plug this today on Outdoors of Larry Ray, and we will plug it for sure on my website and the Facebook page. Get those tickets, and how do they get those tickets?
Well, the Wolf River Conservancy, everybody knows what all the great work that the Wolf River Conservancy is doing with the Wolf River and our watershed for Memphis and the whole county.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, even on into Mississippi. But they are sponsoring this. They're putting it on, and and they're selling the tickets. And they are saying if you buy the ticket for $10, but if you want to donate some more, they'll accept that along with it. But
they'll take that.
But they got the link, and then they're sponsoring it, and they put it on, and it's a little bit, if you're not used to going to their website, it's just a little confusion. So I'll just say, go to their calendar, and on the 20th, just check on the link, and it'll say RSVP, and that's where you purchase the tickets.
And this will be, what time? Is it one time?
6:30 in the evening
6:30
on Wednesday. That's Wednesday, the 20th of March.
And that's, go ahead and lock into that, and
I'd love to see you guys. I'd love to see you guys there.
And it's always good to have Dale in, and of course our man Dave Gabbard is on the road again. We got to get him the theme song on that right now. But he's in Florida, just northwest of Tampa, in Odessa, Florida, right? I mean that's and that's your annual journey, right?
Well, yeah, that's, I'm down here. There's 2 big trap shoots.
Big trap shoots.
Always, first part of March. I'm kind of, they kind of start, you hear the golfers talk about the Florida swing. Well, I'm down here on the trap shooting swing. The first one that starts tomorrow.
Okay.
It's called the Southern Grand American, and it'll be shooting from Sunday to Sunday.
Okay.
And I doubt if I shoot all of it, but I'll be, competing in several of the events. And then the next week after that is the Florida State Shoot.
And you'll be in that too.
I will be shooting several events in that shoot. They're always 2 good back-to-back shoots. And so I'm looking forward to it and burn up a little ammo and get the demons out, get ready for the, the upcoming trap shooting year. I was out practicing the other day at the range, and a lot of it was a nice day, and a lot of the kids are out getting ready. Their season is fixing to start, so.
It's good, and I know that we've got to mention Dave did something that I haven't done recently. I continue to of something that Dave has now accomplished. I'm not want you to toot your horn, Dave. Come on, tell us.
My horn. Well,
tell us.
Know, I always tell you you get to this age, you start scratching things off a bucket list.
Yeah.
And one of them, I scratched off last fall. I was out west and went to Monument Valley. I've always wanted to see
Monument Valley is a great place. Yeah.
And then last year shooting trap, I was fortunate enough to make the all-state team in my division.
But now,
and the other one, I was playing golf the other day and teed it up, made a hole in one.
A hole in one. And did you have a reliable witness?
I did have a reliable witness.
And who might that be?
That was my golfing partner for a lot of outings, my beautiful wife, Frank.
Yeah, a hole in one.
I hit it, and it rolled up there, and we go, I think that went in a hole.
All right.
Well, the excitement there. You can go to LarryRay.com. I think we've posted the picture finally, Dave.
Okay.
I wanted to put it on there to let our people know that we weren't faking or anything, but I've never made a hole in one. Of course, I've never done the Appalachian Trail or paddled the Mississippi River. As the other guy in here.
Or fell in the Grand Canyon.
Or fell in the Grand Canyon. I've been in the Grand Canyon, but I've never done what Dale Sanders has done. And so we're going to come right back, and Dale, take it away when we come back because he's got some plans. Dale's always got plans. And we're going to talk about what's up for this amazing man from Bartlett, Tennessee. A lot of folks know him out there, but we'll be right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. And good morning to all you good folks in Brownsville, Tennessee on 1520 AM and 95.3 FM. And, of course, in Jackson on News Talk 101.5. And, of course, right here in Memphis every Saturday morning from 9 to 10:30 on AM 790. And it's always good to have Dale Sanders in the studio, which he is this Saturday morning. And we've talked about the documentary that award-winning. He said 7 awards already on his amazing trip down the Mississippi River. And now you have another chance to see this thing on the big screen on March the 20th at the Malco Paradiso. But, Dale, I know you're a man that plans ahead. Now, you're going to be 89 years old in June. So what is your next – what are you looking to now, Dale?
Well, believe it or not, but I'm already planning to do my next big adventure.
You are already. Can we
hiking and already planning and
can we talk about it? Can we say
because it's going to take me about 18 months to put together what I need to put together to be able to break the record.
Yes.
For the Appalachian Trail again.
I
want to get that record back. I held it when I was 81 years old.
That's right. And then your friend.
Actually, it was 82 years old.
82.
When I held it, yeah.
Okay.
And I want to. My friend broke it, and I want to take it back, but I want to do it when I turn 90. It'll make it harder to break.
So when you're 90, so we're talking about a couple of years then.
18 months.
18 months.
Yeah.
So how do you prepare for that, Dale? I mean, you're not getting any younger, but you look great, man.
Well,
doesn't he look great for the
in the adventure world? They say that I've heard a lot of people say this. I don't exactly agree with those statistics, but 90%'s mental and 10% is muscle, but I think it's more like 50-50.
Uh-huh.
So I'm doing a lot of mental growth and muscle. I'm trying to in the physical world right now. I'm just trying to hold my own because I don't want to burn myself out too soon.
No.
So, the old saying, if you don't use it, you lose it. That's what I heard that all my life.
All your life.
That's true too. Yeah. It even is.
Yeah.
And this was back in the winter. I was watching a lot of Netflix and I wasn't exercising and I started hurting all over.
There you go.
I started doing a little hiking, and all those pains went away.
So you have to really physically, and there's also the mental side of this, right, Dale?
Yeah, 50%, at least in my way of thinking.
So how do you mentally prepare?
Well,
and you've done
stuff
this
just
before.
like this show. I'll tell you,
That's right.
This is really inspires me to go to something like this. That's one thing, and I go and seeing that I am making an impression on some people and actually changing their lives.
Yes,
and I post on social media and text and emails and phone calls and all those saying, and I do this quite often. I hear somebody says, because of you, this happened.
Yeah.
Or because of you, I am doing this, and it's really nice to know that my actions are not only affecting the older generation, but all levels.
All levels
of
in
society.
Exactly right. When I tell people things you've done, they are amazed. But
Dale's amazed too.
Yeah.
I mean, the things he's done. I mean, when you look at it and the people he's touched, and I can still remember Dale back there that first quest, and so many people had not heard of the Graybeard Adventurer, but now the image is there, Dale. I mean, you've created this, but at the same time, you want to be an inspiration and not a perspiration for folks, right? I mean,
that's right. Now, inspiration is really the most important. I've been trying to figure out how to word that, but that's one of the most important things of this whole adventure. It's really hard to do the Appalachian Trail any age, because only 1 in 5 that started expecting to do a through hike will finish.
Yeah. And Dave Gabbert, you were going to say something there?
And it's they say that on the Appalachian Trail, I always heard that everybody loses their toenails.
Loses?
Actually,
what?
I lost 2 of my toenails on the little toes, and they never came back.
Are you serious?
That's right.
Oh, that's because of the wear and tear on your feet?
Yeah.
And your shoes? Because I don't know how many pairs of shoes you go through.
Well, I go through about 2.5 pair of shoes.
Do you really?
In that 2,200 miles.
What?
Kind of like jungle rot. Your feet just stay wet all the time.
That's right. That's right.
The feet stay wet because you're perspiring.
Well, yeah. Now, I sort of take a little different approach to that. My feet don't stay wet all the time. I get them dry.
You get them dry.
I have to do that. There are certain things that I have to do now that when I was younger I didn't, but now I have to do them. It's going to take me a little bit longer to do those extra things.
Yeah, and you're not on the time frame for this.
Well, the time frame, it's very important. To get the Guinness World Record and to hold this record again for also the Appalachian Trail. Yeah, it's a 1-year program. They allow you 1 year to do the through hike. Yeah. And that's not tied with a calendar year. In other words, if you start on 30 September, you would have to finish on the 29th of September the next year.
You do it
before.
You do it in sections. I mean,
well, you do it daily. You're walking all day, and it's not really a section hike.
Yeah.
But you hike day as far as you can get, or as far as you plan to go that day.
You might take 2 days off.
And you sleep and then get up early the next morning and take off for another day. You do that about 300 times.
And so you'll start in Georgia, I guess,
I started. I'm going to be Nobo. Northbound. Nobo is
You've done this
started
before.
In Springer Mountain. Yes, that's
You've
right.
met people on the trail now that have become friends.
Oh, my gosh, hundreds.
Hundreds of friends. Not only your river angels you call yourselves on the river, but I guess
the Appalachian Trail is where that name River Angel came from. They have trail angels. Been using trail angels for many, many, many years, but not on the river. That's a relatively new term.
And that's become people that they stay with you. I mean, did you get your barn fixed? Did you finally finish your barn?
I finally finished my barn. I've had hundreds of true paddlers coming down, and section paddlers coming down the Mississippi to stay with me. And matter of fact, I have legally the
What?
The Paddler's Wall, not Hall, but
Yes.
Wall of Fame in my house.
In your
I
house.
saw that. I like that.
Yeah.
Right on Facebook.
Yeah, I like that. And you can really get a lot of information on Facebook, right, Dale, with your
Right. Social media is a godsend for the adventurer that wants to spread the word about his activities.
and this is an ex-Navy man who held the record for holding his breath the longest and spearfishing and all these different kind of things.
Well,
But
that spearfishing award I got back in the '60s, that was
a big deal, man.
That was a big deal award. That was like a United States Athlete of the Year award.
Yes, but never in your wildest dream, God has led you on this trail, Dale. I mean, just to keep you fit and mentally and things along that line. And I know we have a lot of listeners today that marvel at what you've done, but at the same time, this is not something he gets up the next day and says, I think I'll start that tomorrow. So he's already talking about at 90, and that'll be June. Let's see, that would be June of what, 25?
Yeah, actually, I'm going to wait and start in the fall.
Going to start in the fall,
and
okay.
hike as far as I can till it gets either too cold or Christmas break.
Okay, yeah, because
Go home for the winter.
yeah, no reason to start in July or June or July
Yeah,
when the
start in the
mosquitoes
fall,
and
enjoy the weather, enjoy
Yeah.
the colors.
and
And I'll be going north, and when it gets too cold or Christmas break is coming, I'll just go home. And I go back up sometimes in April
that's
and start at the same place I quit in the fall and go all the way straight to Katahdin.
that's all the way to Maine, folks. That's 2,000. What is it now? How many miles?
2,200 miles. Well, it's actually a couple of miles short than that, but I just rounded out 2,200 miles.
So what is that compared with the float in the Mississippi? How long was that? I can't remember.
About 2,400.
So both of them are over 2,000 miles.
Yeah.
Wow. Paddling and walking.
How many pairs of shoes do you go through?
He said 2.5. Didn't know what you say, Dale? Shoes?
Yes.
Yeah. So in other words, 2.5. 1 foot makes it better than the other one, I guess. When it comes in, and he does have, folks. You really can follow him on Facebook, the Graybeard Adventurer, but we wanted Dale in this morning on this Saturday morning, give you plenty of notice on that March the 20th at the Paradiso Malco there.
I want to see.
We want to fill that place up for Dale.
And the good thing is that the whole crew and the photographers are going to be there.
Are they really?
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
So we will have the stage full of people for Q&A afterwards.
Oh, okay. All right, because this is an amazing trip what they did and win these awards. And I just saw with this last award, where was it? In Ohio, you said the Walter Ordway favorite goes to Graybeard Adventure.
Yeah,
And there it was. Dale, I know this is overwhelming. I got to ask you this because the inspiration, as we talked about, is there. But you now know people all throughout the world. I think you know people in Russia and other countries through this, right? I mean,
Yes.
and the original thing was for juvenile diabetes, right, Dale?
First time when I turned 80, I wanted to do something big, and I want to do it for some big organization. And my niece is type 1, so I paddle for juvenile diabetes. Yeah.
Hear that? And
We raised money for them. We did pretty good too.
you did good, dude, and you're still doing good. And I know both Gene here and he's my man making walking sticks and things like that. He's probably made more walking sticks than anybody.
Yeah, the
I
other day I
know.
walked 5 miles. I surprised myself.
Did you walk 5 miles?
5 miles.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray as we roll into our 24th year on the air. which sounds like a long time, but this next guest, he's actually been at where he's worked for the last 42 years. 42 years. Of course, he was 12 when he started, so that makes him a young man, but we're going to get ready to talk to what is now the center director. I thought it was center, I said to him, SINNER. He is the center director for, I guess, the University of Tennessee Center at Ames Plantation, and that's our good friend Rick Carlisle. Good morning, Rick.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I am doing great. Dave Gabbert is listening in from Lexington. No, he's down in Florida now. I forgot. He's in Florida, right, Dave? I've lost track.
Wow, good for him.
Yeah, he's getting ready for a couple of weeks of trap shooting down there. And I know he's taking enough ammunition because he reloads. So I don't know how he gets across each border. They check him out and open his trunk. And, of course, I've got the man who's taught over 20,000 students under education, and that's our man Gene Smith. Good morning, Gene.
Good morning, folks.
How many of those passed?
All of them.
All of them passed.
I never failed a one.
You never failed a one. Well, recently we've known this is going to happen, but Rick, who has given his life, really, to Ames Plantation and has meant so much to that facility. Shame on you if you've never been to Ames Plantation. It's like stepping back into times, the Ames Manor, the National Bird Dog Championships, and all the other things that go on at Ames. And Rick has been out there. He's been first he was the superintendent after our good friend Jim Anderson retired and took off for Gatlinburg. Well, Rick's time was that was in January of 2003. And he's announced his retirement coming up on March 31st. First of all, Rick, congratulations on anybody that can stay 42 years at the same place. And because I can only make 34 at the commercial appeal, but
Well, I got 45 Memphis City schools.
well, I ain't interviewing you though. I mean,
know.
that's amazing.
It is amazing.
Yeah,
Get him, G. Get him.
I know. I didn't want to leave, but I didn't want to be carried out.
45 years,
45 years.
42 years for Rick.
Repairing musical instruments.
And how long did you work for the TWRA, Dave Gabbard?
Almost 35 years.
35. Yeah, I am the pup here.
Yeah, you is.
I are.
Hey, now, Larry, I've actually worked for University of Tennessee for 45 years.
All right.
Now he's really getting technical
Good
now
telling you.
and everything. But the reason we got Rick on, because not only is he retiring, but I really wanted him on to thank him, because everybody knows I have never ridden a horse at Ames, okay? All right? The only one I rode was in front of Kroger and cost $0.25.
Well, lucky the guy come out and unplugged it before you got hurt.
Well, he did, yes. But
That was a good thing.
that was a good thing. But one of the things that Henry Reynolds told me when I went to my first national championship, you need to get you a horse that really is gentle. Did you ever see Henry Reynolds walk? I mean, you could drive a car between his legs. You know, I mean, because
he couldn't catch a pig.
No, but he couldn't ride a horse. But you guys took me under your wings. Jim Anderson, you, Mr. Jimmy, Mr. Hurdle. I mean, I could just roll off the names. Mr. Doc Hawthorne, all the great guys, Billy Blackwell. I just go on and on, Rick. And you've had the privilege to really work at that facility. And I know, despite all these years, it's where you really wanted to be. And I know you've got a lot of great memories and things like that. So kind of recap 42 years at Ames Plantation. And folks, this was a plantation from Hobart, Ames, over how many years? I mean, when the Manor House...
Well, the center of the Manor House was built in 1847, and then they added the west wing on it somewhere around 1880.
My goodness.
And then Mr. Ames actually bought the house from John Walker Jones. John Walker Jones built the house in 1847, and Hobart Ames bought the house from his kids, from his daughter and his son, in 1901. And then Mr. Ames added the east wing, which has a kitchen and the servants' quarters upstairs, in 1902. Now, Mr. Ames passed away in 1945, and he left everything to Mrs. Ames, and it was her forethought that set us up in the configuration that we are today. And when she passed away in 1950, it states in her will that they would create the Hobart Ames Foundation to own and operate the Ames Plantation for the benefit of the University of Tennessee. It doesn't mean UT owns anything. It just means that they're allowed to do research there. And so that's the way it has transpired since 1950.
And then I've got to ask, I break in here because, folks, Rick is actually on his way to a place, and he's not reading off a sheet of paper. These numbers are coming out of his head, and that's kind of scary. He's got all those dates right. That just shows you what this man knows about Ames Plantation. And I got to ask you, on April 1st, when you're not going there anymore, are you going to miss it?
Oh, absolutely. You betcha. You betcha. But it's time.
It is time.
It is. It is time. But yes, it takes me exactly 30 seconds to get from my house to the office.
Bless your heart.
Because you never leave. You're there, right? I mean, it's like owning a hotel and you live there. I mean, a resort.
Exactly. Larry, the only time I've been in a traffic jam was during the national championship in February, and it took me almost 4 minutes to get to the office.
Oh, my goodness. Lucky you wasn't docked.
Yeah.
There you go. That's right.
Well, I know this, you say it's time, but there have been some folks, I don't want to put you on the spot and have to name a lot of people, but I know you learned a lot from Jim Anderson and Mr. Jimmy and all those guys back in those young days when you were the assistant out there. So reminisce a little bit about what it's been like to be the director or whatever you want to call yourself at the plantation.
Well, I started there I moved there in December of 81, and I was the assistant superintendent.
Okay.
And I worked as the assistant superintendent for Dr. Anderson, for Jim Anderson, for 10 years, and then they promoted me to associate superintendent in 92, and I was that until Jim retired. He actually retired in December of 02,
yeah.
And I took over in January of 03. And I've had a lot of good mentorship. Probably Dr. Frank McKnight from Somerville, Tennessee, was probably my most. He and Dr. Doran Hawthorne from Inola, Oklahoma. Those two guys probably taught me more, especially about field trials, than anybody else. Well. And that has been wonderful. Now, Jim Anderson, I worked with Jim for 20 years. I learned what to do and what not to do.
That's right. Yeah.
With him. So, that was a lot of fun. Now, you talk about things that you remember.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I remember, you just got through mentioning the guy's name.
What's that?
And that was your predecessor.
Yes, Mr. Henry. Yeah.
Henry. I'll never forget Henry Reynolds. We were riding in the national championship. It was on the morning course, and we were up near Rube Scott Road.
Yeah.
And I was watching Henry, and Henry kept riding along, and his eyes kept closing, and then he'd wake up. And he'd start to close, and he'd wake up.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there, and I was laughing my butt off to myself, and there were several people riding around me, and all of a sudden I looked over, and Henry fell slapped off that horse into the ground.
Yes.
And and it was muddy as could be.
Yeah.
And he jumped up right quick, and he said, "Did you see that horse buck me off?" No, I didn't.
Oh,
and I know he had that brownie camera around his neck too. And he was
absolutely.
And he was taking pictures, and the Reynolds Rolling Roost was out there for all 3 weeks. I mean, he was selling pictures right and left.
Yes, sir.
But then all of a sudden, I show up. I got to admit, Rick, I'm different from Henry, right? Okay. I mean, I've told people that.
No doubt, Larry, no doubt.
And I learned a lot because I knew nothing out there. But I can tell you what. Today, social media, all this fast news and everything like that, I was there every day. Joe Walker had to tell me what to write down. I had to do all of that, and I had to clear it with the 3 judges, and all those judges were they knew I was a lame duck. I didn't think I was going to get through the first one, But I've got lasting friendship. I hadn't been able to go the last couple of years of my cancer and everything like that, but, folks, you need to mark down that those 2 weeks.
The second Monday in February. I always start the second Monday in February.
And we just completed the 125th national championship.
125th running, and it's been held continuously on Ames Plantation since 1915.
Wow! And then Mark McLean, we're going to get Mark on the show, folks. The man won the national championship with the Gallatin's, whatever it was, fire torch.
touches Gallatin fire.
Yeah, and Mark he's still. You win the national, you think, well, I'm going to take a couple minutes off. No, Mark's working every week still, and we're going to get him. We're going to get him on the show, folks, as soon as Mark has a free Saturday that we can do it. But we wanted to get Rick on with us this morning, on this Saturday morning, and just congratulate him on a great career. And I know your wife Kay and your boys and your family are ready for a break like this, and a well-deserved break. Because I know there were some times that Rick said, I'm not judging this thing. And next thing I know, there's Rick out there judging. I mean,
it's in his blood.
I've judged it 4 times, yes.
4 times, okay. Well, yeah. 4 times was enough, I think, for anybody like that. But, again, Rick, congratulations, buddy. Stay in touch and let us know what's going on. And, I know that they're going to miss you out there, and you're going to go to Bahia, got your house going on down there, and you're going to not be too far away. I'm assuming you're going to drop by every once in a while. Maybe not ride your horse up there or not, but I assume you'll be doing that. But thank you for all these years of our friendship and putting up with me and always being accessible on this show. I think we like to broadcast it. We're the only outlet that covers the national championship anymore. And
I agree.
And we do our best on that. But thanks for putting up with me. That's the main thing. My wife said, make sure he thanks you for putting up with you. Because there were many a nights I was trying to send my stories in from Ames Plantation on my old computer out there in the office. And that's another thing. We could talk Rick a whole day about that grand, beautiful, historic office that he has right there. But again, Rick Carlisle, thank you, buddy. I never could call you Dr. Rick, okay? Just Rick, all right?
I understand, and I appreciate that. It's been fun working with you, Larry. Thank you so much.
Thank you, buddy. Be safe this weekend, all right?
All right, man. Take care of yourself.
All right. Let's take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Be right back.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. I don't know how many times I've said that over 23 plus years, but having a good time. Dale Sanders, the Graybeard Adventure, was in studio with us and
fantastic.
Looked great for 89.
Oh,
yeah, it's really cool to run around with older people. Like
I'm telling you, it makes you feel younger.
I feel a lot younger running around with Gene Smith and Dale, but we got to bring in a pup every once in a while, Dave Gabbard.
That's right.
And he's got what?
It looks forward to, when I grow up, y'all are inspiration.
Yeah, well,
thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. But, hey, we're going to switch gears a little bit. In a couple of weeks, we're going to have our annual turkey show here on Outdoors with Larry Ray, and I've got an all-star lineup of turkey hunters, turkey callers, and all those different kind of things. But one gentleman that's always been on the show is going to be doing something that he loves. He's going to be guiding at a hunt. So I said, well, let's talk to Keith Hickman, but let's also talk a little golf, because the man is the pro at Paris Landing State Park Golf Course. And so let's kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And I don't want birds. That's kind of like birdies,
true.
And everything. So we got Keith Hickman on with us on this Saturday morning. Good morning, Keith.
Good morning, everybody. Good to be with you. Good to be with y'all.
And you will be. What will you be doing on that weekend?
We got a wounded warriors hunt I'll be helping with. So I couldn't do the show that week. So you got me on, talk a little golf and turkey hunting. Of course, we got a lot coming up, a lot going on at the golf course. Turkey season's right around the corner. So a lot of talk about.
Well, let's talk about let's talk golf first. You know I love it, and Dave Gabbard loves it, and I know I haven't made a hole in one in over 50,000 shots. I think I figured it up one time and I quit because that was
only for 9 holes.
Well, it's almost like the time I did a story. I did a story one time on how much it cost me to kill a deer, and boy, I got a lot of hot letters on that. So I'm not going to tell you how many golf balls I've hit over the years. But Keith is 37 years. Keith, is that right? Am I pretty close to how long you've been at Paris Landing?
You got it, man. I don't know how you remember that. I may have told you, but yeah, I just finished my 37th year about a month ago and starting on 38.
My goodness, and I know this place, that place is so special to you, Keith. I remember our mutual friend Bobby Hall, of course, loves that course, and I, if I'm not mistaken, that number 4 is one of the most photographed golf course holes in Tennessee, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely is. Absolutely.
When you hit from that one and you see the Kentucky Lake back there, and I know just a couple of years ago, you guys celebrated your 50th anniversary, right? Am I right on that
we
too?
We did.
50 years, and I read something, and this was when that story broke that over 500,000 golfers generated from $12 to $15 million in revenue at that course in its first 50 years.
That was a conservative guess on my part. Of course, I couldn't go back and get all the figures, but that was just kind of what I estimated going back through what records I could come up with.
And there's so much history at that course. When I was reading this thing about the 50th anniversary, Keith, and I knew you had switched from what you were at. You were bent grass, I remember at one time, and then you went to something else. Bermuda, right? Are you Bermuda?
Well, when it opened, it was the old 328 Bermuda grass.
That's it. Yeah.
You know, that everybody had back in the day, and some courses probably still have it. And then in 83 or 4 or 5, somewhere there, we had a terrible winter.
Uh-huh.
They lost a lot of the greens. They lost a lot of fairways. So they thought, okay, bent grass is the new thing to go to.
Yeah.
And then we fought that for 30-plus years.
Yes, you did.
Finally converted to champion Bermuda grass in 2016, which helped keep me my career on track because I'd about had it.
You about had it because the course is so popular, so beautiful. Now you have a new lodge there at the park.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable lodge. If you ain't seen it, you need to come see it.
I have not seen it, and my 2 years of cancer, I'm going to get up there. And I know Dave loves that course. As Dave was just talking about.
It's a beautiful course. I played. I've been up there playing, and actually got a extra little sideshow. I've been up there a couple of times and watched the 101st parachute into Kentucky Lake.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, they do it several times a year. Absolutely.
And it's I think one of the things you specialize. I've never seen such good food at a golf course. I mean, you guys, if I'm not mistaken, you even publicize what's for lunch, right? I mean,
well, sometimes I've got some cooks in my snack bar now.
You do. You do.
I've got some cooks.
So it's been part of your life for so long, and the course is such a beautiful place. Did you ever think you'd be there that long, Keith? I mean, when you first.
I did not. Yeah. I've told many people a lot of times. You know, I thought this was a stepping stone to somewhere else.
Yeah.
When I came here back in the 80s, and then it just like the next thing you know, I'd been here 10 years, 15 years, nothing really popped up. And then I was so far in that I was like, well, I'm not going anywhere now.
And you're there. And
I'm still here 37 plus years later. So.
Amazing. And then you correlate this, and this is what we call a segue into turkey hunting. And your love for turkey hunting, if I remember right, it's about the same time you came there. I mean,
it was. I grew up in Trenton, Tennessee. Grew up raising, and my granddaddy taught me about bird hunting and had bird dogs, and that was my passion.
Yeah.
And then the quail started fading out about the time I got here, and I still had bird dogs, but not many birds to hunt. And then a buddy of mine introduced me to turkey hunting back in the 80s, and then it just flipped. That was my new thing, and it changed my life, that's for sure.
It has. I mean, not only yours, but I think, Natalie? Both of y'all have slams? I mean, am I right on that? I mean, do you?
Yeah, my wife. We both have World Slams, yep.
And you got the Royal Slam, you got the Grand Slam, right? Both of you guys.
We do, yep, and a World Slam, yep.
I wonder how many people can share that honor together. I mean, because that's pretty cool. And then when you think about it here, another honor for you, buddy. And I meant to congratulate you on that National Wildlife Turkey Federation 50th anniversary celebration a couple of years ago. You got a big award there too, didn't you?
Well, I did. I got the Roger M. Latham Award, and
yes, you did. Yeah,
that was very humbling to get something like that. Very unexpected, but very much appreciated. And I couldn't believe it when they told me, but very humbling when your peers do something like that for you.
And you've also been involved in helping other people get involved in the sport of turkey hunting. Talk about that. You love to take these wounded warriors, and I know in our heyday, the Hunting for the Cure, I was on the board of directors. That was a wonderful thing for many years, where we raised money for St. Jude and drove back and forth, and you had those things, and that hunt is not on now. It's gone, right? Is it? It's out.
Well, it's gone, but thank the good Lord, some of the people involved with hunting for the Cure have come up, and now we have a smaller version called Hunting the Cure.
That's it. Yeah.
Hunting 100% of the proceeds, just like before, will go back to St. Jude. We're scaling back this first year. I'm not on the board, but I'm definitely going to be there to help guide, and Natalie's going, and we got people from New York, Mississippi coming.
Wonderful.
Plus all the people in and around Hardin County will be. A lot of those will be helping again. So we're going to hunt 30 kids, and I think we still have room for about 5 or 6 more, from what I've been told.
Okay.
So if you have somebody listener that's interested in bringing their kid, I think it's you'd have to go online. I think it's $400 or $500. That includes the land, the guides, all that's taken care of you, and then all the proceeds go to St. Jude.
And where do you find out about that? What's that? Is that a
well? It's online. It's online. Hunting the Cure. I think there's actually 2 sites, but one of them has a picture of a turkey on it. And that's the one.
Okay, Hunting the Cure. Look for that. Google that and find out that, because Keith loves to do that. And I know that the effort there to turkey season. What are you expecting? What are you hearing out there? You been out listening to any? I mean, I know we're early now. We don't start here. I think the 13th in Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken, is opening day, April the 13th. And I think
it is.
And the youth hunt is the weekend before that. Is that right? I can't remember.
That's right, 6th and 7th.
Yes. Yeah.
I've just started scouting this past week, and had a pooch lip the first couple of days I went out because I didn't hear a peep of nothing, but it was kind of windy. But the last couple of days I've heard a few birds gobbling, so and seen some birds this morning, or yesterday morning, strutting in a field. So they're getting ready. It won't be long.
And the draw of this, the draw on this is that you're probably the only golfer that I know. You're not the only golfer that turkey hunts, because you got them up there probably. You probably got turkeys on the golf course, right?
Well, we do from time to time, more so in the winter when we don't have as much clay.
Oh, okay,
We'll have big flocks come on and go. Of course, we still have, lots of acres of hardwoods here.
Yeah.
They're looking for acorns and mast and stuff like that. So, but as springtime comes around and we get more and more play every day, they tend to kind of leave. A lot of times we'll have a couple of hens that'll hang out over here and try to nest here. Of course, being on the state park, we can't trap or do anything.
No, they're safe. Yeah.
Nest predators a lot of times will get the nest and try to nest here, unfortunately.
Well, I know there's so much going on up there and everything, Keith. We appreciate you. Sorry you can't be with us on that turkey show in a couple of weeks, but appreciate you doing this. So how do they get information about the golf course?
731-407-4600. We're getting another thing I didn't even mention a while ago. I forgot it, but our number one complaint, what used to be slow play, that's not the case anymore. It's our bunkers. Our bunkers were horrible. And there's 9 state-owned golf courses scattered all the way across the state, Pickwick here, and all the way to East Tennessee up Warriors Path. 8 of the courses are getting brand-new bunkers this year through some special funding.
Yeah.
We're getting better. All of us are getting better billy bunkers, which are the bunkers like they use at Augusta.
Yeah.
So we're all extremely proud of that, and we actually just finished a tree trimming project where we limbed up a lot of our fairways, So hopefully that's going to help grow some grass on these trees that we've been fighting for years. So
well, I hope
things going on.
I hope you took I hope you took out one tree that Dave Gabbard is famous for because he's.
Yeah, well, that tree fell over a long time ago.
Okay, Dave, we got 1 minute here, Dave. Tell what I was talking about, Dave. You want to tell that on the air? I mean,
oh yeah, I was playing up there one time on hole number 5. You know, that dog leg, to the right, down up the hill. Well, used to be about 115 yards down there on the right hand side. You had an old snag sitting there on the side of the bank. And so I teed it up. I was playing up there one day, and I was going to do the power fade around the corner.
Yeah, going to do.
Well, I centered that snag, and that ball runs straight up the snag, and we're sitting there on the tee box watching it, and it landed about 10 yards behind us. So I have about a negative 230 drive on that side.
Oh, there's great stories going on up there. Keith Hickman, thank you, buddy. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you down the road. Hope to get up and see you. Okay, man?
All right. You do that. Y'all have a safe day.
Thank you, man. All right, let's take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Be right back.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. We're trying to hook up with Lindsey White over at the Little Red River at Lindsey's Resort. I want to chat with Lindsey and also with a new young guide he's got over, Levi Moser, that I had a chance to meet at the boat show back in February, but can't get them right now. We'll keep working on that. Until then, we've got a great conversation from the pun master over here.
Yes.
He has not done a pun today. You're punned out.
I'm punned out.
You got one that Dave Gabbard will understand. Don't get too high-minded now.
I don't know. Dave's pretty sharp now.
He is.
He is sharp.
No, whoa. You said Dave is pretty sharp.
Pretty sharp.
He's not pretty. He's sharp. Okay.
Okay. He's awful sharp.
He's awful. Okay. Give me one.
Okay. The teacher was trying to correct little Dave in school.
Little Dave.
He said, "I ain't got no pencils." She says, "No, you don't have any pencils. Bobby doesn't have any pencils, and I don't have any pencils." And Dave said, "Well, where'd all the pencils go?"
I'm not a smart man.
You're not a smart man. That's most definitely for sure right there. But again, David's down in Florida for a couple of shoots that you've been doing it several years, hadn't you, Dave? You and Rand go down there at the same campground.
Oh yeah,
I've
been doing these 2 shoots for probably a decade or so. But I've been shooting. I've been shooting all my life since I was big enough to hold something, but I've been shooting on the elusive registered clay targets competitively since '87.
Since '87, okay.
For that, of course, prior to that, years I was in the military, I shot on military teams and stuff, and but it's.
Do you reload? Do you reload for this too? Is this or do you?
I reload, yeah.
Okay, you're reloading. So this first shoot though is more of a state shoot, like. But
the first shoot down there is kind of a national type shoot.
Okay,
it's they call it the Southern Grand.
Southern Grand,
America.
Okay.
And then the following week is the Florida State Championship.
Florida State Championship, but
they're a trap shooting association. They're state championships.
So what do you shoot in? What? A lot of folks have asked me that. He talks about shooting, and we know you shoot.
Shoot trap, and there's 3 different events in formal trap competition. You shoot one of them we call singles. One of them event we called handicap, which is longer yardage. And then you have doubles. Like you're shooting 2 targets in there.
Okay.
It's at the same time. So.
You mean for trap you have 2 targets?
Yeah, throw doubles. Yeah.
Wow, that'd be challenging, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's they all challenge, like the late great Herb Parsons said that he said they're not hard to hit, just easy to miss.
Yeah, you're right.
And speaking of that, that's really strange because my friend James McClure, where I deer hunt, ran across an envelope, a real big envelope, and inside of it was a story that I wrote about Mr. Highsmith, the great gunsmith out of Memphis, but it also included a lot of information about Herb Parsons and a picture of Herb Parsons. And I had a chance several years ago to meet his two sons at the old hunting show, and a lot of people would say, well, there's a lake out there. Wonder who this Herb Parsons is. Well, he was the sporting showman.
Unreal.
He could shoot cabbage and all these different kind of things, and but only that I think he shot some for the movies and things along that line.
Yeah.
And his house, believe it or not, is still in Somerville, sitting on the same corner, and I think it looks like it did in 1957.
Wow.
There. And Herb Parsons, Google it out there, young listeners.
Yeah.
And see what Herb Parsons.
Said, Mr. Parsons shot in that Jimmy Stewart movie, Winchester 73.
That's it. Yeah.
That's right.
He did all the shooting in it. So
yeah, he was shooting against his brother. I can't remember his brother, Blackjack or something like that, in that movie. And Jimmy Stewart's shooting against what turns out to be his brother to get that rifle. I forgot about that Herb Parsons did that. So the lake is named after Herb Parsons because Herb Parsons grew up in that area. But if you want to see a demonstration, you can go on YouTube and find some of these old videos. And see Herb Parsons. But
he made a movie. Winchester made a movie from Herb. It was called The Showman Shooter.
That's it. The Showman Shooter, and that's what it says on this picture of him. He had on his dainty hat and a tie.
Yeah, he was shooting more than two birds at a time too, wasn't he?
Oh, I think. He could shoot two or three. Thanks.
I'm trying to remember.
He could take some. He shot a Winchester Model 12 pump. And where a lot of the exhibition shooters today are shooting auto loaders out there.
Right.
But, Herb Parsons shot it with a Model 12 pump action 12 gauge. And, if you took the plug out of a Model 12, I own several of them, you can put 7 of them up in the magazine.
Wow.
And 1 in the chamber for 8. And
what?
He could take.
You could 8?
Yeah.
I was thinking he did shoot 8 at one time, yeah.
He could take 8 clay birds in his hand and throw them up in the air and break all 8 before they hit the ground.
Exactly, yeah. I'll try to remember that. Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
Well,
he'd start at the bottom and work his way up.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It just came. You mentioned his name, and I don't think a lot of folks realize that who he was.
Well, these young guys starting out shooting, that'd be a good inspiration.
It would be good.
There's one scene in that movie, he takes an egg and he hikes it between his legs like a football.
Yeah.
And then picks up the shotgun and turns around and just breaks it from the hip while it's out there.
Right, yeah.
Well, I know that Jimmy Stewart movie, he throws that silver dollar in the air and he shoots it through the middle of it, if I'm not mistaken. And
he had to put a stamp on it.
Yeah, put a stamp on it. He did. He did that. I don't know how we got onto this, but we started to Dave about shooting and down in Florida, and we're kind of filling air here because undoubtedly we can't get the good folks over at Little Red, so we'll just kind of.
Well, I'm kind of excited about going to see Daryl Sanders' video because apparently I'm in it.
Dale Sanders.
Dale Sanders, yeah. I had to sign a release.
Yeah.
But
yeah. You were down there the day I couldn't go, and you went.
I went down there. Yeah.
So it's $10. It's at the Malco Paradiso.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out
on 6:30, and you may be in it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, they won't sell the video, but it's too expensive.
Yeah, I don't know I think the video's $20 or something.
Yeah,
maybe even more than that. But we appreciate Dale. He's quite a man. But
I mean, the stories he tells, like one time it rained so hard he had to sleep underneath a picnic table.
Yeah.
I mean, all things he went through. It wasn't bed and breakfast places to stay.
Why don't you get in training and go with him on the Appalachian Trail?
That sounds good, yeah.
Yeah, you could ride along in the cart.
What I like, you remember that young couple from your church walked at one time, and we was talking about everybody had trail names like Sunflower. Or,
what would your trail name be, you think?
My camp name is Stinky.
Is Stinky?
Yeah, because
I wouldn't tell that.
So I wear a skunk hat.
You sure it's Stinky? It's not Sweetie. It's Stinky.
No, Skinty.
Okay, I'm going to start
I was wanting a good camp name, and I'm glad I didn't wind up with the one that they was going to stick me with.
No, we won't even.
Yeah, I remember the one they tried to stick
Yeah, right.
you with.
Yeah, I don't want that one.
We don't want that one either on the air or anything like that. But we're in the stinky mood. You got another pun?
I'll have to think.
Why don't you think on that for a while?
You know where
you hadn't done the film one. We do that every time. Everybody loves that one.
What's that?
Huh? I was going to date a photographer.
Oh, yeah, but nothing ever developed.
That's one of my favorites. We do that. Shelby's waking up.
Yeah,
over
he said
there.
I had a phonographic memory, but the needle broke.
But the needle broke. All right, so you'll be shooting for 2 weeks then, right? I mean,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and playing a little golf, in between, days that I'm not shooting. Maybe, try not to roll too many balls under the alligators down here.
Oh yeah.
No, don't do that. But now that you made a hole in one, it's a whole new world for you now.
Oh yeah.
He walks a little taller now.
No, he doesn't. No, he's real humble about it. He's sent out pictures to everybody he knows.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, all 6 of us. That we got it because they knows I've come within 8-10 inches, a foot, and they all made me putt it. They make you putt it. You did putt it. I mean, when you get close, you still have to putt it. But while you're doing that, I hit one in the water last Monday out at Lakeland. I will say, if you want to play some good golf, go out to Lakeland. The folks out there are really good. Rick Bell and all the good folks out at used to be Stonebridge, now it's Lakeland, and we're getting ready to have the Bartlett Senior Golf League getting ready to crank up. On Tuesday we're meeting, but I will be meeting with my cancer doctor on Monday, so I appreciate the prayers on that. Hope I get a good report, and everything is going good on that, and then I'll have another scan down the road, of course, but it's golf time, and it was good to talk to Keith Hickman.
And I want to emphasize, with this warm weather, not only is it kind of golf time, but a lot of people are fishing now that's going.
Yes.
A lot of boats out, and I can't. It may be warm, but that water is pretty cold.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
You want to make sure you've got
hypothermia. That's right.
Yes, sir.
And Ron Wong always mentions that. Do that because it could be 75, but that water temperature is not 75. And it doesn't take, I think, it takes a very short time.
Oh, yeah.
The hypothermia set in. But anyway, so we'll try to get the folks at Little Red and Lindsey Resort on for another show. But let's take a break right now. I know we're going to get this next young lady, Joan Howe, up at one of my favorite places, the Tennessee National Wildlife Refuge. That's a great place. And they're getting ready to throw open their doors, man. The bugs and everything are getting ready to come out. And we're going to talk to Joan next on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. We wrap up today's show as we roll into heading to our 24th year on the air. And I know that this next guest has been on several times with us over these many years because she's kind of I don't say she's a fixture. That sounds like something that you'd plug in or something like that. But she has been a real good friend of Outdoors with Larry Ray, and that's Joan Howe, the refuge ranger at Tennessee National Wildlife Refuge in Springfield, Tennessee. Good morning, Joan.
Hey, Hey there, how are you?
We're doing good, and it's about time to open the doors, right?
It is. But did I hear you say you've been on the air for 24 years?
Yes, that's right.
That is amazing. That is actually the same time that I have been here, a ranger here at Tennessee National Wildlife
Wow,
Refuge.
we go back a long ways then.
We do go back a long ways. We do go back a long ways.
And we're both where we want to be.
That's right. That's right.
I love what I'm doing, and I know you do, and a lot of folks don't realize that you guys and a lot of the National Wildlife Refuges, whether we want to talk about Cross Creeks or any of the other ones, shut down for a period of time during the winter because y'all become a sanctuary, just about, right?
That is correct. So there are 7 National Wildlife Refuges in the state of Tennessee, and all of them have a focus on migratory birds, and we even zero in our management on wintering waterfowl.
Right.
And so the biologist says one of the most important management things that we do here on these National Wildlife Refuges is sanctuary. And so for all those 7 refuges, some completely closed down and some just portions closed down, like sensitive feeding and resting areas closed down. But from November 15th to March 15th, is our sanctuary period, and it's people don't boat in there, they don't go down to the shoreline, you don't drive past certain areas. It's just for the wintering waterfowl to rest and recuperate, feed, pair bond, all that kind of stuff. But
it's time to open the door now.
Ending up that period of time, and so March the 16th is the very first day that we will be completely open on all these refuges. So, so that is not this Saturday, but next Saturday. Our trails are open, our areas are open. You can paddle and kayak,
bike, hike, kayaking, fishing.
The whole refuge is completely open. Yeah, so it's an exciting time for us.
And it's a beautiful refuge. I mean, you guys. Have how much? What do y'all got? 51,000.
Tennessee National Wildlife Refuge has 51,000 acres stretched across 65 miles of the Tennessee River. So this refuge goes across 4 different counties. Then we are complexed together with the sister refuge, Cross Creeks National Wildlife Refuge. That's in Stewart County along the 11 miles of the Cumberland River, and that's another 9,000 acres. So together we have 60,000 acres really close together for these waterfowl.
Is the Tennessee National Wildlife Refuge the biggest, or is it one of the biggest in the state of the 7?
It is one of the bigger in the state. Yes, it is. So in the refuge system wide, we would be considered just a medium-sized refuge.
Just a medium-sized.
There's ones that are like million acres, million and a half in Alaska,
out west
whatever.
or someplace like this.
Yeah, right. But for this area, that's pretty good-sized refuge for this part of the world.
And you've got things to when you open the door, everybody thinks, well, Joan's been off for 6 months here. I mean, it doesn't work that way. I mean, you guys are.
It doesn't. The wintertime is actually our busier time wildlife-wise. We do things like all kinds of land management and things like winter duck banding. That's all just wrapped up last week. But you are right. It is getting time for when we're open. That's when a lot of activities happen here. And so the first activity on the schedule is, we got to get the refuge a little cleaned up because we normally don't want people down doing trash pickup and doing other types of maintenance right there when the wintering waterfowl there, because that causes a little bit too much disturbance. But when we open up, there's a lot of trash out there that we got to go and clean up and get the refuge looking all pretty for the rest of the season.
Save a critter, pick up litter.
So we do have one of those times this Saturday, March the 16th.
Okay.
It is in the portion of the refuge called Duck River Bottom, which is south of the town of New Johnsonville.
Yeah.
So if folks want to come, they can come to 550 Refuge Lane in New Johnsonville. You put that in Google or MapQuest or whatever, and that'll get you there to the gate. And we will be cleaning up. That section is about 5,000 acres, I guess, the section of the refuge. But it's one of the most heavily managed wetland portions of the refuge. It's absolutely beautiful. And also when things flood, it really kind of increases the trash there. So we're going to have a Save a Critter pickup litter, because litter is very dangerous for our critters and kills a lot more critters than folks think.
Yes.
So we will have a trash pickup. We will provide all the trash bags and gloves and litter pickup sticks, everything you need. You can get a free T-shirt or or one of these backpacking like trash pickup bags.
Okay.
We have those for folks there. We will have a few snacks and water and all that kind of stuff. So we'll make it into kind of a festive, fun day. And we're going to spend some time between 9 o'clock and 12 o'clock picking up trash.
And you will pick up some trash, won't you? I mean,
we will. And
it's amazing.
Some of this trash is also in a little bit of wet areas.
Yeah.
So
bring your boots.
Bring your boots, bring your knee boots, things like that. Bring your clothes that you don't mind getting just a little bit dirty, maybe a little scratched, because some of this trash isn't conveniently located. It's just off the road or out the way a little bit.
It's never going to be conveniently located.
That's right, folks. So that is one of our cleanup events that we have going on. A second one is just the very next on Friday,
March the 22nd. Okay.
So that is up in Springville, right near the adjacent to the Refuge Visitor Center.
Right.
The address for there is 1371 Wildlife Drive in Springville, Tennessee. So on Friday,
place.
March the 22nd, from 8 until noon, we will be there is a pollinator garden adjacent to the visitor center, in which we do tons of environmental education in that garden. So we have field trips galore. We have groups coming out here, and we take them out there. A lot of kids may hear the word pollinators a lot and understand that that's a good thing, but they don't sometimes understand what pollination is. And so we can show them all the native bees and bugs and things actually doing pollinating in there.
It's a learning day. You make this a learning day for these kids.
That's right. So the garden has been fallow for the whole winter. You want to leave it fallow because things do overwinter in the garden, and they come out, you know. So by this time, anything's there is kind of have probably come out. So it's time to get the garden cleaned up and a little mulch put down and looking a little nicer. And so we ask that the community come out and help us get that looking a little bit better.
And the refuge itself, folks, is one of the nicest you'll ever see. I know our Outdoor Writer organization has been there before. Dave, I'm sure you've been there. I know Gene has been there. It stands out as a crown jewel, I think, in the location. And Joan, like you said, you've been there for a while. This is a special place, folks. Now, you got to want to get there, but there are signs that'll take you right to the refuge. And when you go in the refuge, you see all the whatnots, and it's all first class, and you can picnic there and things along that line. And of course, it's got the greatest name, I think, Refuge Drive.
Yeah, Tennessee National Wildlife Refuge. So we have also, folks need to know that we do have a visitor center with state-of-the-art exhibits in it. There is an exhibit hall, there is a classroom, there is an auditorium that plays the movie, there is a top-notch nature bookstore there.
A great place to visit. And it's not. You're close to Paris. How far are you from Paris now?
So we're about a 15-minute drive outside of Paris, Tennessee.
So there you go. Now, we've already had Keith Hickman on today talking about turkey hunting, but also about Paris Landing State Park. So, folks, go stay at the new lodge, which I need to get up there. I have not been there since the new lodge. Here's an outing you can take. It's free. You don't have to pay. They just need your help. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Joan, you a lot of people visit your place each year, don't they?
Yes, we do. We have probably between 400 and 450,000 people come visit the refuge annually.
Say that again, Joan. Say that again.
400 to 450,000 people come visit the refuge because it's a place to not only come and wildlife observe, but it's a big fishing area too.
It is. Yes.
The refuge has 23 boat ramps to provide access to the lake or to our very large impoundments that we have for the waterfowl.
Yeah.
It's not waterfowl time. It's great crappie fishing time.
It is.
So we have a lot of those places too, for folks to come and recreate on the refuge. And then if that's not enough, we're only about 15 minutes from Paris Landing, the lodge too.
Yeah.
We have all kinds of events to attract your attention as well.
Tell us. How do we find out those events? Where do they go to for those?
So our website is www.fws.gov.
That's it.
/refuge /Tennessee.
Yes.
Tennessee spelled all the way out. We also have a Facebook page. A lot of people get their information off of social media.
Yeah.
And we have a Facebook page, Tennessee National Wildlife Refuge, and it'll certainly be in both of those places. So here's a couple of just a few of the things that we got coming up.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a family spring fling on World Migratory Bird Day on May 11th, and that is going to be everywhere, all around the visitor center. There'll be archery. There'll be blow-up big things to jump and bounce around on. There will be a live wildlife here to see and touch and feel. There will be games and many other activities all around the building. There'll be food for sale.
Oh, yeah.
So there's going to be a refuge spring fling, and where we're just going to celebrate the spring wildlife around us. On June the 8th, we're going to have a salamander crawl. That's a program about salamanders, and we go crawling around the spring that's close to here, trying to find native salamanders.
Well, we're out of time. You got so many things, folks. This is one of my favorite places to visit. I'm telling you to go to their website. Hook up on their Facebook. They do a great job with press releases because Joan loves this place. It's where she has been for a long time. And, Joan, it's always a privilege to have you on Outdoors with Larry Ray. She always does this on short notice because she knows I'm a short timer a lot of times, but we appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the privilege of being here.
All right. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Joan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, Joan Howe. Let me quickly get us out of here. Dave, Gene, thank y'all.
Yes, sir.
Yep. And be sure to spring forward tonight.
Spring forward
That's
tonight.
right.
Yeah, I can't wait to do that. Yeah, and don't forget, next week, Bassmaster Classic preview with Ron Wong will be in the studio. It'll get darker later from now on. Shelby McCall, thank you. This is Larry Ray reminding you to do each and every week. It doesn't cost an extra cent to be a good sport. What else, guys?
God bless the USA.